Thank you for joining me for another presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. Today date is Saturday, September 26, 2020, and this is episode 142. This is our regular weekly blog, so we're going to cover all of what's going on in the world of sports, especially within the last week. MLB update today. We got a lot of playoff implication games this weekend. The American League, the 8 teams are already set. Just seeding has to be determined there. The National League still 2 spots still open, and we'll take a look at who made it so far in both leagues. The NBA is getting hot. The bubble starting to get near is in. Conference finals still going on. Boston was able to survive last night. The Pro within 3-2 of the Miami Heat. Lakers will try to clinch their spot in the finals tonight with a 3-1 lead over the Denver Nuggets. I think that game is on TNT later on. And Billy Donovan got hired this week as the new coach of the Chicago Bulls. And NFL Week 3, we'll take a look back at the Thursday night game. Miami, pretty impressive win Thursday night over the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got our big 5 games of the week. I'll give you all my picks for Week 3, including the huge game on Monday night. As not just as a Raiders fan, but as a football fan, the Kansas City Chiefs come here to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. Definitely the game of the year so far. And you know, NHL also near is in as they in the Stanley Cup final. Tampa Bay Lightning with a 3-1 lead over the Dallas Stars. College football starts today for the SEC. So a lot going on in the world of sports. The French Open starts next week. So just because of the pandemic, the good thing is you get into all your sports at one time. Like a big Thanksgiving sports feast, and I'm loving it so far. But let's talk about baseball. Look at this crazy playoff picture. Of course, the league this year has expanded the playoffs to 8 teams in each league, so that's pretty much double, which is normally it's usually 5 teams in each league. It's now 8 this year. I don't know if they're going to keep this or not. I think if it wind up being pretty compelling, they might. Would be surprised if baseball keeps it around. So first we're gonna look at the American League, because all the spots are clinched. All the playoff spots are clinched. Just the Central Division need to be clinched, which could come down to this weekend. There's 3 teams, like I said. The Twins, the Indians, and the White Sox been fighting for that top spot all year. White Sox though been struggling of late. The Indians and the Twins have been coming on. So that's a huge spot there to get home field, even though home field don't really mean a lot, like I said, well, in any sport right now with no fans. Tampa clinched the East, but the Yankees and the Blue Jays are playoff teams, and in the West, Houston have made it, and Oakland is your division winner in the West. So all 8 teams are determined. It's just seedings and things of that nature. Look like Tampa Bay is going to be the 1 seed. They got the best record, but clearly over Oakland and Minnesota, who's right now the central leader in the American League. So all that'll be determined this weekend. We'll go look at the schedule as well. Let's see who plays who. In the National League, still some stuff in the air. My Braves, they clinch the playoff spots. Are still not the division yet. I guess Miami could pass them in percentage points, but the Marlins, congratulations to them. The bad year they had last year, they are a playoff team. Oh, the bad few years that Marlins have had. So for them to make the playoffs, and then the way this year started with COVID, the whole team pretty much had the disease or the virus, and they still overcame all that and made the playoffs. So that's very impressive, no matter how you look at this season or not. That's an impressive feat for Miami. The Cincinnati Reds clinched the playoff spot. Them and the Cubs in the Central. St. Louis, which is confusing here. St. Louis is in that 2nd spot. They lead Cincinnati by a percentage point, but Cincinnati has already clinched a spot. So not sure why that's the case and why St. Louis ain't clinched. But anyway, St. Louis probably on the cusp of probably one more win and they'll clinch. And the Dodgers, clearly the best team in baseball, is going to have less than 20 losses in a 60-game season, 41-17. They clinched the West, and the Padres still quietly rolling on. They have clinched as well. I think the Giants is still in the mix. Milwaukee, I believe. Philadelphia, And I think the Mets probably got an outside shot. I know they already announced the Washington is eliminated. They was the defending champions. They won the World Series last year. Pittsburgh was way out of it. Colorado, Arizona was way out of it as well. So let's look at some of the games this weekend. See, as we just went over that, what games will impact these things are going on. Okay. Like I said, I know I've seen the Marlins beat the Yankees last night, so that was clinch. You know, that's how they clinched their playoff spot. Let's look at I want to check out the Central in the American League. The Twins play the Reds. The Reds have already clinched, so that's still a huge game. Indians playing the Pirates, so the Indians look like they will have advantage, and the White Sox are playing the Cubs. So I don't know. Maybe the Indians could climb and get the division. Like I said, it will mean something by getting home field, but let's see how that all shakes out. Dodgers are in cruise control. Like I said, Padres Giants series is kind of huge. The Giants trying to get in. Phillies playing the Rays, so that's huge. And Brewers Cardinals, that's a big series. So those are the series and games you got to look out for this weekend. Because like I said, especially in the National League, it's still spots that got to be clinched. So yeah, that's going to be compelling there. So it should be a great weekend of baseball to determine some spots. But we'll know everything by Sunday night. The seedings and the playoff matchups. Of course, the playoff matchup, as I've been mentioning, is the best of three. So it's going to be interesting. Like the Dodgers, who they play in that 8th spot. It's only a best of three. So say, just for example, say if the Phillies wind up being that 8th spot team, you know, I can see the Phillies upsetting the Dodgers just because they have somewhat of started pitching to match up with, and then they got a deep lineup with Bryce Harper, of course, leading the way. So that's what I'm saying. These wild card series is going to be interesting. We'll see if it's any big ups. I think it's going to be at least maybe a series or two that by seeding anyway there'd be big upsets. But I don't see it by the Dodgers because I think it's their World Series to lose. They just play good baseball. I think even though this, like I said, especially if they get by this first series, this first part of the playoffs, if they get by that, I think they go all the way and probably win it as well. I think I picked them in the Yankees to make the World Series. Yankees still make the playoffs. They got a lot of injuries, but they started to get healthy. They're a dangerous team because they have a lower seed since they ain't win the division. So I think that's good. I think, I think that would help them more than hurt them. I think they was, they'd have had a balance the season, all that pressure on them, probably would have fell in the first round. But I think whoever they play is going to have a rough time with them in that first, that wild card round. So, but we'll, by next week, well, they probably be over by next week. But I'll probably touch on it on Thursday when we do the Thursday blog. So it's going to be interesting this week to see who's still left standing and going into the divisional series, which is supposed to be bubbleized, of course, if that's the word. National League and American League are split up, and then they meet in the World Series in Texas. So that's how the plan is supposed to go down. And they just mentioned yesterday some good news. There ain't been no positive tests in baseball in like almost a month because baseball really struggled out the gate with the COVID-19. So good news for that. And then once they get in this bubble, everything should be fine. They should be able to finish the season and get to the World Series. Just a little footnote, seeing this news yesterday, Alex Gordon, a long time Kansas City Royal. Of course, the Royals are not making the playoffs this year again. But Alex Gordon has been there through the good times through this decade. They won the World Series, went back to back, went to the World Series 2 years in a row, but won as they defeated the who they beat the year 2015. It's not sticking out to me. It wasn't the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they start getting to the World Series yet. I know it wasn't the Giants. I don't know, maybe I have to look at the standings and give me a reminder. But they won the World Series a few years ago. I think it was against the New York. I think it was against the New York Mets. I should have looked that up, but I'm positive it was the New York Mets because I remember that series pretty well. Now, yeah, I think it was the Mets they defeated. I think it was 2015. So they had some good years, and just sort of, you know, when anybody retires, always, you know, sort of sad, but you know, you just get the chance to look back. Alex Gordon, I know a little bit about him. He was a decent player for the Royals. He decided to hang it up. So he will retire at the end, well, tomorrow, because tomorrow's the last day of the season. So good luck to him. He was a decent player, so just wanted to throw that out there for any Royals fan watching. Let's move on to basketball. NBA talk, NBA bubble. Probably NBA has probably been the most successful team in the NHL by dealing with COVID-19, having a bubble for me to begin with. And both series still going on, both conference finals still going on in the East. Of course, Boston, like I said, was able to stay alive with a commanding win over the Miami Heat as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown broke out, had monster games. I've been real disappointed though with Kemba Walker. Personally, I think if he played just decent, I think Boston would probably be leading the series right now. Like I said, I picked Milwaukee to come out the East because, you know, Miami took them down. And in this series, I had Miami in 7, and it looked like that's where it's heading. But just to get Tyler Hero some love, I know it's been a couple of days, like game number 4. He had a monster game that put Miami up 3-1. A rookie from Kentucky, Jimmy Butler, Bam Bam. I just don't think they're gonna relinquish this lead. But Boston might force a game 7, but I don't think they're gonna relinquish the lead. I don't think they're gonna blow the 3-1 lead. I don't think it's in Miami makeup to just roll over like that, but we'll see. But if they can get it to 7, like I said, anything happens in a game 7, so can't rule that out. But Boston, I don't know, they just maybe they have to grow some more, because I like Jason Tatum. I think he can take the next step and be a superstar. Jaylen Brown as well, but like I said, I think Kemba Walker has already established himself in this league. I think he has to turn it on. The Gordon Hayward element is interesting as well for the Celtics, but he has made an impact since he's been back. So Miami, you know, I guess it'd be good for them to end it. I think they don't play again. Matter of fact, let's check that out, because I know last week they didn't want to go against the NFL on Sunday, so they pushed the game all the way to Wednesday. So let's see what they did this week. But they still going to have the game tomorrow. The Lakers and the Nuggets do play tonight. That's a game 5, with the Lakers up 3-1. Of course, LeBron with a huge defensive play. I don't think Jamal Murray got fouled on that play, that controversial play, but the you know, the fouls and everything. Yeah, so they still will play Sunday, game 6, Heat and Boston. So they still will have the game despite the NFL. And like I said, Lakers Nuggets tonight, game 5. I don't think they were gonna pull a miracle out they had this time. I don't think they're gonna come back from 3-1 down this time. I think the Lakers are just too good. Like I said, the big men, to me, is their advantage. Jokic has been sort of here and there. Jamal Murray been carrying them again. Had the big game in game 3. The pull of and then 2-1, but Denver just don't have enough. I like Michael Porter Jr. He had some big shots down the stretch as well in most of these games. But I just think the Lakers just too deep. Rajon Rondo been out of control. You know, he always steps it up in the playoffs. He's been huge for the Lakers. You know, how everybody would say, oh, it don't matter if he come back, you know, if he plays or not. It's not a big loss. It probably wasn't in the first couple of series, but I think in this series it does make a difference. Like if he wasn't there, I think Jamal Murray would probably be even more dominating in the scoring end. But Denver, we'll see. I'm not going to count completely out. They have come back from 3-1 twice, so I just don't think it's going to happen with the Lakers. But like I just said about the last series, you want to end it as soon as possible. You know you got somebody on the ropes. You want to get rid of them because the more momentum, you know, they get, you know, especially Denver. Denver's been proven, you know, once they get a win, you know, they can roll. So we'll see. But you know, Coach Mike Malone, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, he was upset about the foul, about the calls in the game. Because the Lakers actually made a tape for the league office saying that they wasn't getting no calls. Particularly LeBron James, he only had 10 foul shots the first 3 games. But I think last game 4 alone, he had I think 13, 14. I think he went 11 for 14, which is good for LeBron, because he usually struggles at the free throw line. So, and Anthony Davis got to keep doing what he's doing. Just think the Lakers just too deep. I think it's their time. I think like I said, Dwight Howard has to step up still as well. Him and JaVale McGee, I think they is the keys. And a third scorer, you would hope Kuzma would be more consistent, or somebody else would be more consistent. That's probably the only Lakers flaw, but I don't think it's going to affect them for the rest of the playoffs. So I think they'd be fine. So, like, once again, Game 5 tonight, Lakers could clinch, go to the NBA Finals with a win tonight. Denver will try to hold on and push this series to a Game 6, which will be on Monday if they is able to do that. Some outside news, non-playoff news. Another coaching hire, Billy Donovan, was named the new Chicago Bulls head coach a few days ago. I think it's a good fit. I think this is a good hire. I like Billy Donovan. I think the Thunder and him, I think they mutually parted ways, if I remember correctly. I think that's what happened. Like I said, I think he got a bad rap when both Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, he had both of them together. You know his history as a college coach, winning 2 titles. But I think he needs a young team, and the Bulls are pretty much a young team. Jack LaVine, underrated player. I think he'll buy in to Billy Donovan. Bulls have been, you know, a little dysfunctional really since Derrick Rose left. The Bulls has been irrelevant. You know, the front office history, you know, all about that. Even going back to the Jordan days, 20 years ago, 30 years ago now. I think it'd be interesting. It's an interesting hire, but I think it's a good fit. I don't have no problem with this hire at all. I think Billy Donovan has been a heck of a coach. And Oklahoma City, gotta give them credit too. Their GM, yeah, he's done a great job. His name ain't coming to me right now, and maybe it'll pop in my head. But he's done a great job over the years. The way he's drafted, like I said, getting Chris Paul, the young team they got there now. Surprised, you know. Maybe they just want to move on and get another coach. Oklahoma City. I think that spot is still open, I believe. I don't think they hired anyone yet. But they got a nice little team there. I got a feeling, since there's been a rumor out there that Chris Paul might get traded to the Bucks. That was going to be hard for them to do, to match the money and all that, because Chris Paul got a big contract. But Milwaukee has came out and said, only why I believe it a little bit, it might happen, because Milwaukee came out and said they would play over the luxury tax to put together a team for Giannis, so Giannis can stay, basically. So that'd be interesting. That's to look at in the off season. But congratulations to Billy Donovan. I think he deserved the job. I just hope the Bulls, don't get in the way. Let Billy Donovan do his thing. He's a good coach. I used to follow the Florida Gators a lot, and when he was down there with Joakim Noah and that squad, Al Horford. I forgot the rest of the starting 5, but they was the 2 main calls, the 2 big men. Al Horford and Joakim Noah. They won back-to-back titles in the NCAA, which is tough to do with all the good teams in the, college basketball. So he's a great coach. I think he deserves to get the job, and I think he'll do a good job. The East, you know, sort of other than the top, you know, we got Milwaukee. Like I said, they'll be back with Giannis. The Heat, I think, ain't going nowhere. Boston, of course, and Philly. We'll see what happens with them. They're still looking for a coach. Will Ben Simmons come back healthy? Him and Embiid, can they get that together? Will they get rid of one? So I throw Philadelphia in there, and of course Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving coming back. But the rest of that bottom part of the East, I mean, Indiana still had the same team. I don't know why I was surprised they let Nate McMillan go. I think they still search for a coach as well. I don't think they hired anyone yet. So a lot of coaching vacancies still out there, but Indiana maybe still hanging around. But I mean, you can make a push for that, you know, that bottom. I like Orlando has been consistent. They've been, I mean, even though, you know, they haven't gotten out the first round, but they've still been in the playoffs the last 2 years. So the East starting to get a little interesting, but I think that bottom part, I think somebody could come from nowhere. You know, I still like the Wizards if John Wall and Bradley Beal come back healthy, and they can add somebody else to help them. So the East starting to get a little, you know, not as strong as the West, because the West is brutal, as we talk about all the time. See, like every week I say that, but the East not too shabby, you know. You know, so like I said, I just named all those teams, and all those teams can definitely make a push to the playoffs next year, whenever the season starts. Which there was news about that this week, that that's going to be most likely in July. I mean, in January, excuse me. They was going to try to start it by Christmas, but the commission said no, that don't look realistic. The draft is in November, I believe, or a few weeks after the season's over. The NBA draft, so they want to get, you know, have a little training camp. Still don't have a plan yet. They were saying maybe they should do a bubble again, but I don't think players gonna really like a lot of. Not that it wasn't successful, but a lot of players don't like being in the bubble. Like, you know, a lot of people, especially the players that's gone, they was like, oh, they couldn't wait to leave, and it messed with their psyche and how they play. That's why all these teams, what they doing is impressive. Like, you gotta have a mental state and really want to play basketball. And then look at all the stuff that's going on outside the bubble. You know, the political things going on, the racial injustice is going on. Even though they've been able to speak on it, but it's like you're still stuck there. You can't go nowhere. You can't go out and march or really do anything. So that's frustrating players. And just not being around your family, even though they let the families in. I think in the last round, but you still, I guess, you just feeling, you know, isolated. I guess I'm gonna use that word. Like, you can't go nowhere despite you having feeling. You can't just go out and just do what you want to do. So I think that affected a lot of players. So we'll see how everything goes down. We got time. Hopefully coronavirus is more under control and we could go back to somewhat normal, have fans in the stands and stuff like that. NFL, even though, like I said, I just watched see the Dallas highlights. I think that's the only stadium that had fans that I've seen. In the Kansas City game, the opening game. So at football, which we're about to get into right now, actually, and move on from NBA. But big game tonight for the Nuggets. Can they hold on? And game 6 big on Sunday, Heat and Celtics. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the NFL, but to give you my all my picks for the week. Of course, I got my big 5 games written down here. But let's talk about Thursday night football. The Miami Dolphins did defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-13. Not really a major surprise. I thought the Jaguars would win this game, which I predicted on Thursday. Of course, next Thursday we got Broncos and Jets, so another sort of game. You know, even though this was like a game, but Ryan Fitzpatrick had a big game, mainly running the ball. Like I think he scored a touchdown on the ground, Had about 80 yards on the ground as well. Just 160 yards passing. He did pass for 2 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew, you look at the stats, still pretty decent. He had 1 interception. But his completion percentage was still good, you know. I don't know what really happened. I didn't see this game. This game was on NFL Network, so I couldn't see it. Still decent numbers, but you know, he probably still did play as well. Jaguars fans might be sort of happy about this. Now you won the first game, now you dropped your last 2. Dolphins gonna win. Because like I said, I was thinking like if Fitzpatrick struggled, we could have seen Tua out there. So that holds that, that puts that to rest for now. As Fitzmagic came around. But like I said, I'll be back Thursday to preview Broncos. Jets. Broncos have a lot of injuries, and the Jets just look so bad. So we'll see how both of those teams look this week, and maybe we'll get a decent game on Thursday. But let's get into the picks. Of course, the Thursday night game is behind us now. We got Sunday games. I got my big 5 here. Like I said, when I get to that game, I give you a deep analysis of the game. The other games, I'm just going to try to skim through them. Just give you my pick and move on. Speaking of, here's our first game. Oh, here we go. They froze a little bit. Bears Falcons. That's the first game on the schedule here. I was back and forth about this game, but I'm just gonna go with the Bears. Just the Falcons, just like offensively they look decent, but just I don't know, they just seem like they got a cloud over their head. But I would be shocked if they win this game. Bears with Mr. Trubisky. I think if it's high scoring, I don't know if they'd be able to keep up with him. So I think if the Bears able to keep somehow slow down this Falcon offense, they can win the game. But and I'm gonna go with the Bears just because the Falcons has just been so terrible the first 2 weeks. Of course, you know they big choke job they had last week against the Cowboys. So I'm gonna go with the Bears. Rams and Bills. That made my big 5 game of the week. Rams, both of them 2-0. Of course, Bears 2-0. The Falcons 0-2. By the way, on that game. Buffalo with a 2-point favorites here. And I was back and forth about this game, but I picked the Bills to win the game. I just think both defenses are going to cancel each other out. Like I said, I kind of believe more in Josh Allen right now. You can say he's an MVP candidate. He's having a monster year so far, passing and running the ball. He's definitely like he took a step forward. Jared Goff has played well. I ain't gonna take anything away from him. I just don't believe in the guy. I just think he needs to prove it to me more. So I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think the Bills will pull it out and go to 3-0. Rams, like I said, they gotta give them credit. I thought they wasn't gonna play well this year. It's still early, but in that tough division, this would be a huge loss for them if they do it, or a big win for them if they win. But I'm gonna go with the Bills here slightly. I think that 2 points is pretty much pretty accurate. I think it'll be a tight game. Washington football team against the Cleveland Browns. Both teams come in 1-1. I'm gonna go with the Browns here. Washington looked like they came back to earth last week against the Cardinals. I think the Browns have to. Well, I ain't gonna say have to win this game. Like I said, Browns is one of the drama teams right now. So if they lose, it's gonna be a whole bunch of talk. I think they quiet the critics again this week. They beat the Washington football team. Titans, Vikings. I'm pissed off at the Vikings. I'm just going to put it out there like that. Vikings really been the most disappointing team to me easily. I thought they'd come out and play better. Kirk Cousins haven't played well. Like I said, I respect the Titans, and I think they'll go in there and beat the Vikings. And that's all I'm going to say about that game. This game made my big 5. The Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders will go to New England to face the New England Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Patriots to win this game. Cam Newton, even though in the loss, there's never no such thing. It's said it's most of the time no such thing as moral victories and this and this and that. But he looked so good despite the loss. You were throwing the ball. That's what people was wondering. Can he still throw the ball? They proved it against Seattle last Sunday night. Raiders 2-0 start, so not bad. Derek Carr haven't played that bad, but I just think the Patriots will be able to exploit the Raiders, and I think that'll be the difference, and I think they'll win the game. Cam will have another monster game. They might possibly be high scoring. Because New England did get some points to Seattle, but I think Seattle's offense is way better than Oakland's. I mean, Vegas offense. It's going to take me a while to get that straight. But 5.5 might be a little big, but I think they still get it done. I think the Patriots win the game. 49ers Giants. I'm just going to go with the 49ers here. Both teams are depleted with injuries. Niners stayed on the East Coast. I think that helps. But the injuries by both of these teams, Niners could be already done. But I think they would just got this still. They think better than Giants. No Saquon Barkley. It's going to be all up to Daniel Jones. I think the 49ers still do enough and they win. Might be a close game though. Bengals Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles here just out of respect, man. I mean, if I was just going off how they played, I would take the Bengals. Both teams are 0-2 though. I think that 5 points is being generous as well to the Eagles. I think it's just about a respect. So I'm going to pick them out of respect, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals win this game. Texas Steelers. Texas 0-2, Steelers 2-0. Steelers starting to get some clout here. And lately everybody said they in the class with the Ravens and the Chiefs. I don't think so yet. They is a good football team. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Ravens fan. They just have to do a little bit more, but this will be a game, a measuring stick game to see where they are. Even though the Texans are 0-2, I think the Texans, even if they lose this game, I still think they could come back and win the AFC South. But Steelers defense, they have a tough, they have a task with Deshaun Watson. Definitely, this offense will definitely be one of the best they faced this year. But I'm going to go with the Texans just because, like I said, I think Deshaun Watson, I just believe in him a little bit more. I like Pittsburgh. Like I said, I don't think Pittsburgh is terrible. I just think, even though I think if they lose this game, I think they fine. But they go down 0-3, that's fine. But I'm just going to go with Houston here. They pull out the upset. Jets, Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts. Jets just a mess right now. Move on to the next game. Carolina at LA Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. Panthers had a lot of injuries last week as well, losing Christian McCaffrey. The Chargers lost Tyrod Taylor off a mistake. He got his lung punctured by mistake, which is devastating in itself. Just bad luck. Like somebody, Mike Greenberg was listening to him, and he was just going over his career. Like, yeah, he's had a lot of bad luck. Like every time he's about to get a started job or gets a started job, something happens. Either he get injured, and then a young guy come in and plays well, or basically it's been like that over even here in Baltimore. He backed up Joe Flacco for a while. He's about to get a job. I think he got hurt. And then I think that's how Lamar got in there. Yep. So, yeah. So he just had some bad luck. Went to Buffalo. So he's had to start a job. Like I said, he had this one. But if Herbert, which I think he's going to probably win this game. I think I doubt if they go back to Tyrod. I really do. Probably just go ahead and let Herbert go ahead and keep the job. So. But I think the Chargers are going to win the game. Broncos hosting the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady. Don't have a lot of good history in Denver, but I think he had one here. I think they win. I think Denver also, like I said, with a lot of injuries, Cortland Sutton, Drew Lock. Von Miller's gone. Of course, he was gone a couple of weeks ago. So Denver just on a free fall. I think Tampa Bay goes in there and take advantage of that. Lions, Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Cardinals are hot. Kyler Murray playing well. Lions, you got that line feel again. And I think the Cardinals will beat them at home. Another game on the Big Five for about the next couple of games. We only got 3 games left to go. Cowboys at Seahawks. Late Sunday game. I'll go with Seattle here. Seattle 5-point favorite at home. Like I said, the home crowd it's no home crowd, so that is not a factor. But I just think Dallas, the way they won last week, I think it's more of a negative thing to me, in my opinion. Like, they still haven't looked good. Like, they could easily be 0-2. And I think Seattle's too good of a football team. They're not going to make the mistakes Atlanta made. I honestly think this could be a blowout, potentially. I think Jamal Adams will be motivated by this game because Dallas didn't trade for him. So he got that motivation. And I think that Seattle's defense will play a lot better. Now, I give Dallas credit. Dak Prescott has looked good. Zeke has looked good. The offense looked good. The defense, though, been lacking a little bit, as you saw last week against Atlanta. But I think the Seahawks will exploit that. I think they win pretty, not easy. I say at least by more than a touchdown, put it that way. I think this game ain't going to be as close as people think it is. I think Seattle, like I said, I got Seattle cards at NFC, and they made statements already this year. And I think they win this game by more than the 5-point spread that they got here. Another big game in the NFC, Packers Saints. That's a Sunday night game on NBC, of course. Green Bay 2-0, Saints at 1-1. Saints haven't looked sharp. Drew Brees haven't looked like himself. Of course, no Michael Thomas. No crowd in New Orleans, so I think Aaron Rodgers, the big win he had against Minnesota in week 1, and then just dismounting in Detroit in week 2, averaging over 40 points a game. I think that continues. I think the Saints will probably try to keep up. I think this is an Emmanuel Sanders game. I think Emmanuel Sanders breaks out a little bit for the Saints to help out without Thomas being there. But I think Aaron Rodgers will continue his hot streak. Aaron Jones, the other Aaron, I think he had a monster game as well. I think the Packers will win, even though New Orleans 3-point favorites here. So they basically said that they even. I don't know if it's the same spread because there's no fans or not. So I don't know if they're just getting 3 points period, or it's the 3 points because you're at home. But either way, I'm going with Green Bay to win this game. They on the high, and I think they're gonna continue it. This loss will probably start making people look at New Orleans or what they want to do, or it'll be some rumbles of that this week. And our final game of the weekend, even though it's not on the weekend, it'll be Monday. Biggest game of the year so far. The game everybody been looking forward to. Even if you're a Chiefs or a Ravens fan, either or if you're not, this is the biggest game of the year. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. 2-0 both teams are. Chiefs sort of struggled last week against the Chargers, but still was able to win it overtime. Ravens have kept rolling from last year, well, regular season wise anyway. Took care of Cleveland easily and pretty much ran through Houston as well. So this is a huge game. To me, this is probably will determine who will get the 1 seed and maybe determine who will make it to the Super Bowl. I got the Ravens doing it this time. I think they had the personnel to sort of slow Mahomes down a little bit. Then I think Lamar could still have a monster game what he has. But like I was talking about this game this morning with one of my residents, we both be saying as Ravens fans, give the ball to Gus Edwards more. Like, this is a Gus Edwards game. I'm not saying like control. Like, if you can score, you can score. But I think I think we're gonna need to be keep the chains moving. You don't want to keep giving the ball back to Kansas City. So the long drives would be probably better than the quick hits and everything. But whatever you can score, you can score. Go ahead and score. But I think this game in particular, I think they should feature Gus Edwards running the football. At least that's my opinion. And we're a different team defensively from last year, like Marcus Peters, like I said, Calais Campbell, that defensive line. Can they get pressure on Mahomes? That'd be the thing. I think Travis Kelce, that's the person I think you got to watch out for in this game for the Ravens. But I'm going to go with the Ravens to win the game. 3.5 is fair, a fair spread for them. I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be high scoring as well overall, even though I just said something about the Ravens defense slowing the Chiefs down. But I think the Chiefs defense ain't going to be able to slow the Ravens down. Even though the Chiefs defense has played a lot better this year already, like what they did to Houston in week 1 in particular. And they played the rookie last week, so I'm not going, you know, but still, you know, they still played good defense. So, very interesting game. Very game will go a long way for the season. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens though to pull it out. And that's my week 3 picks for the week. Like I said, if you go in the comment section and say you want to join my pool on ESPN Fantasy app, you can just compete just for fun, pick games all week. I used to be doing it since I was a kid. I love picking games for the week. So if you want to join me, you can do that. Just let me know if you do, and I'll send the information. I'll put it in the comment section. So thank you. So that'll wrap it up pretty much for this week. So final thoughts of other nuggets here. Like I said, I mentioned the NHL Stanley Cup getting theirs in. 3 games to 1 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning over the Dallas Stars. As that season's about to come to an end, I think Tampa, not knowing that much about hockey, but the Lightning has been a good team the last couple of years. I think they finished off the Stars, and they wound up being a champion. That'll be determined definitely before next week is over with. Like I said, the SEC start today. We got some good news about the Pac-12. They're gonna play this year. So college football is rolling around. I've been seeing some games here and there get canceled due to COVID-19, but nothing really big. So hopefully they just keep pushing through. But like I said, the Pac-12 is going to play. I think both the Pac-12 and the Big Ten will start sometime next month. So that's good news for college football fans. Like I said, the SEC start today. I know one of the games is Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss plays Alabama. I think so. SEC football is back. You know, I follow the Florida Gators. So now I think Alabama played Missouri. That's what I see. I think Mississippi State and Ole Miss get together. I know it's, well, basically all the teams play today. So I don't have the schedule in front of me, but it's a big college football game. So if you're a college football fan, definitely something to watch for today. French Open tennis start I think Monday. So like I said, all this stuff it's just not normal. Usually some of this stuff ain't during this time of year. So you get all your sports at once. Like I said, it's like a Thanksgiving sports feast. If you're a sports fan, you're loving it right now. But that'll do it this week. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I want to say thank you so much to all the support. I'll be back Thursday. We got Broncos Jets Thursday night football. I preview that game. We'll take a look at both teams who is not doing too good right now. Probably both coming at 0-3 by next week. But I'll still preview that game anyway. As far as video game playthroughs, Cuphead, if you notice I haven't done a video in a while, I'm just stuck on this level. So whenever I beat that level, it will be posted. Like I said, I might throw some Call of Duty videos out here and there. The new one that comes out next month, I'm not going to get it initially. Me and my brother Don Juan. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know who he is already. But we usually play the games together. So I don't want to buy the game and then he don't get it. So I'll be playing it by myself. But you know, unless I come across some extra money or something, I'll probably get the game. But I'm definitely getting the Crash. It's about time, Crash Bandicoot 4. So you'll be seeing videos of that sometime next month. So bear with me on that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm Troy West saying thank you. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll talk to you guys Thursday. Jets and Broncos. Ugh. But I will go ahead and preview that game anyway. Thank you for joining me. Still stay safe out there. Wash your hands and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.